everybody, it's Tiffany. Welcome to week number 4 of the Home Organization Challenge. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad I'm here. It's been a kind of a crazy, busy week for me this week. So I'm excited kind of to settle in with you guys and talk about organizing your pantry. No, we're not organizing pantries today. We're doing cleaning supply consolidation today. Woo! This is number 4. You got your handout. It's it's on the web page, ready for you to download and print and set up your notebook. I have a couple of things one announcement. First of all, hi everybody, Barb and Bobby Ann and everybody that's popping up there, and Jamie and Suzanne. And I have a question for you, Rocks and Docs. Does that mean you have dachshunds? I think it probably does. Hi, Stacy. Good to see everybody popping in. Katie's with us. She's in my ear. So if you have a question, type the word question in all caps or put a bunch of question marks. She's monitoring things and she will get me that question if you have a question today or from last week. So here's my big announcements. First announcement is we're going to try the 4:30 time slot. So rather than going to 4, a whole hour, just a half an hour. But it seemed like the majority of people last week were cool with the half hour change. I have a little seasonal allergy thing going on, so I'm going to apologize for that in advance. So we're going to try the 4:30 thing. Here's the other thing I want to know from y'all. When I first sort of dreamed this up, I got this number 16 weeks in my head. And I'm not sure that we need 16 weeks. I'm thinking that 8 weeks would be a good run for this. Different than for those of you who are part of the Craft Supply Challenge. It's a little bit different because you can apply these exact same principles that we're learning each week to every area of your house. So maybe just the list that I put up in week 2, I believe, maybe Katie could find it and put a link up of like all the different micro zones in your house to kind of work through. So tell me how you feel about going 8 weeks. And and I'll get it. I'll read through the whole chat after the show tonight, and we'll kind of come to a consensus on what we should do there. And then the 4:30 timeline. And I want to know, Rocks and Docs, do you have dachshunds? That's my question. I'm a geologist. Oh, very nice. All right. And my spouse is a doctor. All right. I was looking for dog pictures. Okay. So let's jump in because we are going to get your cleaning supplies consolidated today. And here's the big thing about consolidation. And the thing I want you to think about as we move through this lesson, when you can put everything in one central location, knowing what you have and where it is becomes significantly easier, right? It also becomes easier to know when you're out of something or know when you've bought too much of something, or everyone in your family to know where those things are, in this case, cleaning supplies. So when we talk about cleaning supply consolidation, it's not just cleaning supplies. It's having so much of things or so few or not enough of things, and really making that space work in one location, and you're saving space in probably a lot of other locations, right? So a lot of us have cleaning supplies stashed here and there, maybe some in each bathroom, some under the kitchen sink, wherever. And then it seems like whatever you need maybe is not there, or what you need is empty. And when you go looking for another one, that one's also empty, or there isn't one. So this whole idea of consolidation makes it simpler for your brain to find things, right? So it's the consistent trail or map that you can follow. You only have to go to one place to look for that specific thing. And so this is not a story about consolidating your cleaning supplies. It's just a story about that consistent map. I had an interaction with a friend of mine who bought the book and was reading it, and I ran into her the other day, and she said to me, oh my gosh, she goes, this idea of having this consistent trail and doing things the same way all the time. So I guess not only a trail, but a system of organizing things the same way. She said, I really need to embrace that. Let me tell you why. She said, I have 25 bras, which is just too many bras. She goes, maybe I actually have 30, but it's just too many. And so anytime I need one, I have to dig through. well, I'm going to this event. I have this black dress that I'm going to wear. I have a special bra that goes with the dress, and I couldn't find it. It wasn't anywhere. It wasn't with any of the bras. So I had to drive into town. I know for those of you who know where I live, it's an hour at least into a store that sells a bra. And I had to get into town. I had to do that, come back, and then pack and get ready to leave. And it was very stressful. Well, when I pulled the dress out of the closet, I had hung that special bra that goes with the black dress on the hanger with the black dress. And I thought that was brilliant. And she said, but to your point in the book that I was reading, it's not brilliant. You have to go where your brain is going to look for things, and you have to stay consistent about it. And the idea of hanging a bra with every shirt or dress you own is not realistic. So you can't do that, actually. And most of us can't. Imelda Marcos probably could, but most of us can't. So she said, I really had to embrace that idea and how important it is to have systems that are always the same and always consistent. And so this experience with the bra made her more like on it. Like, okay, now I understand why this is important. My brain went to the bra drawer. And that is the most important part. Where does your brain go? And those of you who've done the craft supply challenge, we've been through this a lot on that too. Just because I keep my stuff a certain way in a certain place doesn't mean it's the right way for you to keep your stuff, or the right place for you to keep your stuff in. So that consistency of always doing things the same way really pays off. And when you're able to consolidate things, which is what we're after this week, into a system where you know where to go to get things, and you know when you're going to Costco where to look and see if you've got things, is the perfect solution for getting all of those things organized. So keep that in mind, right? So consolidating is going to keep you from overbuying or from underbuying or wasting money. It's definitely wasting time, and having some confusion about inventory. And everybody in your household knows where those things are. Then they know where to go to get them, and they know where to put them away. So it just simplifies everything, which is what we're really after with organization, right? It's not so much about putting things in boxes and bins. It's about developing these systems that are useful for everyone in your home. So this week, we are after that. We're going to consolidate, and we're going to start with your cleaning supplies. But I made this little list of all the other areas in your home where consolidation might work well. Now, of course, some of it is going to work well for some of you and not for others, but it is printable. I mean, I could read it to you, but you can print it and read it yourself. But really just thinking about keeping things together you use together, and not just the process of using, but also when you're shopping for things, creating shopping lists, restocking things, all of that stuff, having that consolidated space is good. And if you have cleaning supplies stashed all over your house, and you can bring them all into one area, that means you've freed up clutter and space somewhere else in your house, right? You've made things a little bit more comfortable for under the kitchen sink or under the bathroom sink or wherever it is. And then, of course, adding things like a caddy, right? Something that makes it easy to move those cleaning supplies around is also a great idea at that point if you're putting everything together. So as you're deciding where it's going to be, think about that. Like, what am I going to need to move these things around? How is it going to be easier to have these things here? Do I need, I always thought that there should be, there's a mop bucket, right? There's a little spinner thing or whatever, and it usually has a handle, you can pull it. And I always thought what we need though is like a mop bucket on wheels that has like a hanging rack over it. So you can put your duster and your broom and everything else, and you could just pull that little trolley around. I even actually mocked one up at one point with a little cart, because that's the challenge, right? So maybe a little cart is a good idea with your cleaning supplies, depending on where you're storing them, that you can just pull around from room to room. Some of you may need you may have upstairs, downstairs issues where going up and down the stairs carrying things isn't a good idea. So you may have to have two sources of cleaning supplies. Again, whatever's going to work for your life, but consolidate those things down and make them simpler. So this week, that's our goal. You are going to get out your worksheets and corral and consolidate your cleaning supplies. So the worksheet starts normally with a bunch of questions, right? What do you need to know before you start this week's challenge? I guess I should pause here and say, Katie, are there any questions at this point? Okay, good. It's pretty simple. So this is why I'm thinking, and then of course you've got your tiny task checklist to move through, and the reflections. So sort of the end things, right? Just really working on that mental process. And I didn't talk about who this week's winner is. Do you want to pop that there up on the screen, Katie? So Gail Villanueva Cardenas, you are this week's winner, and I loved your post. I loved how you said, oh my gosh, looking at the boxes brought me joy. My shoulders, the tension, I felt a little bit of tension ease out of my shoulders and I felt liberated, getting rid of those old things, those work clothes that I wasn't using anymore. Just looking at those boxes brought joy to your heart in terms of like, there's something about consciously choosing to move things out of your space that you no longer use that is really good. It just feels really good on the inside for most of us. So congratulations, Gail. Great post. I enjoyed your pictures and your comments. So thank you so much for putting that up. And, I love, love, love all the before and after stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I should talk more, but you guys know what's going on. You have that mental process, right? And we've kind of mapped it out in the worksheet. And so I just kind of feel like your time may be better spent just working on this week's task maybe than listening to me like blather on. I'm looking at my notes here to think of what sage advice did I skip that you really need to know, but I think you guys are on it. I mean, I think everybody seems to be getting a great, just really embracing the challenges and getting things done and moving forward. And yeah, so unless anybody has questions, I think we've got an early wrap up tonight. Anybody? Oh, Katie's got a question. So question, can we get the handouts earlier, Tuesday morning or Monday night? I was just talking to Katie about that. And Katie can post those whenever she's ready or bring them up whenever she's ready. How does that sound, Katie? Are you good with that? I am going to give her all the materials. And like I said, I am leaving town. So next week's class will be a recorded class, but she will get everything set up on the website and get it turned on. And then, and she'll put a post up on social media that says, here's everything you need. And that'll be simple. So yes, it's fine with me. And as long as it works into Katie's schedule, we're all good. Let's see, anybody else? I use Stash and Store to organize under my sinks, and now I need to do maintenance. Yes, Rosemary. Okay, so Stash and Store, Slide Stash and Store, if you don't know what that is, they had them on sale at scrapbook.com. That was the last place you could get all the sizes. If you need the smaller sizes, and Slide Stash and Store are just these long boxes that work really well under your sink, or anywhere. Actually, I have like all my baking supplies organized in my pantry in them. They just work great for cabinets and shelving and all that stuff, but they had them at scrapbook.com. Now I know that Stephanie at the stampsoflife.com, if you go to the Stamps of Life and you search Totally Tiffany Storage or Storage and Supply or Slide Stash and Store, I think she might only have the smaller ones left, maybe size 1 and size 2, which are the little guys, which are great for small things, but like under the sink, the 3, 4, 5, and the big Bertha number 6, I think. Or was it number 5? They're 5 or 6, I think 6. She was the good one for toilet paper and all kinds of good stuff. So anybody else? Any other questions? Oh, Tawny says they are out of pretty much all the Slide Stash and Store. So keeping cleaning supplies. What if you, I missed that. If you, can you find that? There's a couple of things up, Katie. Can you see it? Put it on the screen. She's going to pop it up. What if you have more supplies than you have space in a single location? Could you consider maybe a different location or a location that's nearby? So maybe they're in one cabinet, but there's another cabinet next door. And thinking about, do you have duplicates of things, right? So I used to keep like 3 or 4 different bathroom cleaners in every bathroom. So Comet, Comet, and then like countertop cleaner and Scrub and Bubbles or whatever that one was. And We Live where there's really hard water, so CLR. So I used to have those in every location. And then what would happen was this: I would run out of CLR under the sink in the kitchen, and then I would go to the guest bathroom or over to our bathroom looking for it, and it would either be gone because Park took it somewhere, or it would be out as well, right? So when I needed to buy stuff, I had to go to 4 or 5 locations to find, we're not 4 or 5, 3 or 4, to find things and see how much Comet was left and how much this was left. But if I would have had just one of each of those things in that carry bin that I could carry around the house and do everything. And the beauty of that is you can grab the carry bin, say you only need CLR. You could grab that carry bin, take it into the guest bathroom. You're going to use the CLR, and then while you're in there, you're like, oh, I could also look, I also need to Windex the mirror, or this needs to be cleaned up. And you have everything, the towels, the brushes, all the things, your magic eraser, all those things in that little tote with you, so you can do it all at once, and then you can put it back all at once. So maybe the thing is not to have so many, or you've got somewhere where your tote is, and then you've got back stock somewhere close by. So everything you need is in that tote, and then the back stock or the refills, right? Especially for those of us who buy things like 409 at Costco when you buy the gallon jug, right? So if you've got your gallon jug refill things in one cabinet and right next to it, you've got your tote, that might work well. The other thing is maybe you just need to move everything to one different location, right? So the cabinets in my laundry room are smaller than the cabinet under my kitchen sink. So if I was trying to put everything in the laundry room cabinets, it would be take 2 cabinets, but underneath the kitchen sink, it would take 1. So maybe just thinking along those lines. And if you live in a 2-story house, then maybe there is some divide or 2 sets of stuff where you've got one upstairs, one downstairs as well. But anytime, the thing that you want to think about is, when I need something, how many places do I have to look? And if you can put everything in one place, that's the ideal. That's sort of the friction-free thing. And it's not only you. I mean, it might only be you if you live alone. I guess it could be only you. But if you have partners, roommates, kids, whatever, it's so much easier to say, go to this one location. That's where everything is to find what you need. And they also then have one place to put it back. So try to maybe think a little bit like, could I move it somewhere else? Or do I really need to keep it in 2 or 3 locations? So, but when you're talking about making an easy system, less is more. And what I also say all the time, perfect is the enemy of good. There is no perfect solution. You just need a good solution, something that works well for you. All right. Let's see. What's up on the, is that a question? I'm aware of the microzones, looking for the master plan. This is a feeling very chaotic and unorganized to me. It is chaotic and unorganized, is looking for structure. I don't know. I'm aware of the microzones, looking for the master plan. I think, I don't know if I'm understanding you right, Sister P4. The master plan would be simply to work through those microzones. There is no one size fits all solution. There's only teaching yourself, organizing your brain so that the systems that you put in place are the same. If you want that more structure, then I would just grab the microzone list and work through it from start to finish. I mean, I think that's why people ask for the microzone list, right? Because they want to see, like, what are all the things I could be or should be organizing? And some of them are probably going to be already done or not something that you even have. But the microzone list really works through the house, and it takes into account all kinds of things, right? From, game closets to nightstands. So if you want that kind of structure, I think the microzone list is perfect. The problem for me with following the microzone list with all of you is that if you look at the microzone list, there's probably 60 or 70 items on there, and everybody doesn't have those. And trying to figure out how to divide them up into a week, when what I'm really encouraging you to do is do one tiny thing. That one tiny thing, and if you read the book, you already know this, that one tiny thing is going to snowball into the next thing, right? You're going to do this one 5 or 10 minute task, and it's going to feel good. Like Gail said, this feels good. I want more of this. I want to feel more like this. And that sort of, motivates you to do the next little space in your closet, or the next space in your pantry, or whatever it is that we're talking about. Next week is going to be pantry, but it's more about developing that system. However, I love a checklist. I love the microzones. That's why they exist, right? You can take that list and you can go, okay, this week I'm going to work on everything in this living room microzone list, or the bathroom microzone list. But what you're doing is just applying the same principles, the same ideas. How do I make this a one-handed grab? How do I see things without opening a drawer and then taking out a box and then taking out another box, or moving everything around? How do I organize my things so that I can see what I have and access what I have with the least possible amount of friction, right? The least number of steps in the process. And it's the number of steps in that process that make it painful to maintain anything, especially if there's other people involved, right? I hope that helps. Shelly, my pantry's a disaster. All right. You got something else, Katie? Okay. So that really comes down to the 8-week versus 16 weeks and how you guys feel about that, because I'm happy to show up here every week and say, here's your task. And I'm totally happy to do it. I feel like I'm not giving you guys the value beyond kind of what we've already, well, there's a little bit more. I mean, there's more in the book. There's about how you're going to maintain that afterwards. I mean, there's a couple more chapters I haven't even touched on, I guess. But I want you to feel like when you're here with me that there's value in what I'm saying. And so I'm concerned, I guess, about bringing you guys here on Tuesdays and you feeling like, well, that was a waste of time. I didn't get good information. So, please read. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So Katie's telling me read Barb's thing. I mean, I could map out. So if you're asking me to post, but do you want to keep going for 16 weeks? How do you guys feel about that? About an 8-week challenge instead of 16? You can continue to do the same things, but do you find value in me being here? Next week, I think, I've written next week's class already, and I feel like there's value there. I have something important to say that's going to hopefully answer questions, help and motivate you to do a great job organizing your pantry next week. But I want to make sure you guys are feeling like the value is here. So that's the question. This the sisters. So Yeah, I think I'm seeing some stuff about the workbook. Remember, there is a workbook that goes with the book, and this is all mental. The workbook in the book for the book is pretty much the mental work of getting organized. And then the handouts and the worksheets for the Tuesday night class are the actual, we're going to do cleaning supplies, we're going to do closet, we're going to do this. So one of the things I discovered last week, I don't even tell Katie this, is that I can download the comments and review them after, which was really helpful because I literally went through last week and highlighted all the comments about the time change. And it was like 75% of people were like, yeah, it would be better for me if it was earlier. So I was like, oh, let's split the difference. We'll do 4:30 instead of 4 o'clock. And I know that didn't work out for some people, but yeah. So tell me what you think. Put a comment in and let me know what you think. How many sessions it looks like Suzanne has said. I think we knew what the topics were for the next 14 sessions. We might be able to answer the question better to choose 8 or 16 weeks. Okay, you guys are going to challenge me on that. So this is what I will do. Like I said, I'm leaving town in the morning, but I will put together a more complete syllabus with what I would be talking about through 16 weeks. And I will get that up on the Home Organization Challenge main page. And we'll get some social media posts out to let you know that it is there. And then you can give me your feedback on what you think we should be doing. How does that sound? Good. Can you give me a thumbs up? I don't know if you can do this. Let's see. Stacy says, I've read the book, but I feel that your lives bring those everyday tasks to the forefront. I look forward to and have gotten something new out of everyone so far. Well, good. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I love doing them. You know, this is what I love to do. I enjoy helping people get organized. I don't know. So as long as you guys are feeling like, yeah, there's value, then I will keep showing up on Tuesdays and telling you what to do the rest of the week. All right. Any other questions, Katie? All right, my friends, you have your challenge, cleaning supply consolidation. You know, I think another thing is I have more detailed lecture notes that you can print. And so part of it is I think, oh, you guys can just read the notes. Like, you know, I don't need to read them to you. So I am trying to do a better job with lecture notes. I am including a printable in this week of the lecture notes. You don't have to just take it off the website. It's printable. So for those of you who are notebook lovers like I am, there are a bunch of little goodies on the website this week that you can download and print. And there will be more next week as well. So, but I will put together a list. I'm going to write it down right now of 16 weeks, what I would do for 16 weeks, what we'll be talking about. And then you guys can let me know. Maybe I'll have Katie run a poll or something on social media, and then you can vote for how many weeks that way. All right, everybody. Well, I'm headed off to see Park in the morning, so enjoy the video next week. I will do all these little tasks while I'm roaming around with him in the Pacific Northwest. Please, all of you, send good sunshine and warmth to the Pacific Northwest because I have been spoiled being warm all the time in Arizona, and I'm a little afraid to get up there where it might be a little chillier. So, all right, my friends, take care, everybody. I'll see you next week. Well, you'll see me next week. I won't see you next week. Bye-bye.